Hey, how are we doing, everybody? Welcome to another chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. We got the leaks out for chapter 263, the real 263 of Jujutsu Kaisen, straight from the presses, and it's been an interesting chapter. Definitely a lot of ups and downs. And first things first, it's going to immediately begin with the unlimited void domain just shattering entirely, which could go good or bad, who knows. The big thing is we know that Yuta fumbled. Not actually, I mean, the hollow purple clearly went off, which is always good, but it misfired according to Sukuna, because Sukuna does say that he managed to supposedly pull it off, which is basically just surviving the 3 minutes of the domain clash and then breaking Sukuna's domain. Unfortunately, after this, Yuta is not looking so hot, because right now it is, of course, Yuji, Todo, and Gojo slash Yuta, whichever you want to call them by, all going to fight Sukuna at once now that the domain breaks. Todo goes, hey, Yuta, just start firing off purples. We'll boogie woogie out of the area, just start hitting Sukuna as many times as you can. And before we know it, Yuta is keeled over, hitting the ground, because before the 5 minutes is even up, domain expansion causes curse technique burnout. We all know this is no surprise, nothing new. However, using Kenjaku's curse technique, Yuta finds out that Kenjaku's curse technique outright just disappeared after the domain expansion. Kenjaku's curse technique went on burnout, which means Yuta can't control Gojo's body right now. He's literally just like the Get Out movie where he's watching his body from like the sunken place. Like, that might as well be what's going on. So he's out for the count. It's literally just Yuji and Todo now fighting the good fight. And not that there's anything wrong with that per se. Todo's the best backup that you could ever ask for, but as Todo is getting distracted looking at Yuta and going, wow, I can't believe Sukuna is still holding up when Yuta can't even hold up. And Sukuna black flashes Todo? Of all people, Gege, you had to have Sukuna land a black flash on. First of all, Sukuna doesn't need any more black flashes, but you're gonna put it on my boy Todo? Sheesh. And unfortunately, that breaks my boy's Vibra Slap. He no longer has his instrument attached to his hand, which means he has to basically impromptu clap and figure out different ways to improvise a clap for Boogie Woogie, which is just not good in general. We were already kind of grasping at straws here. Yuji is still able to take advantage of it. Todo is still able to Boogie Woogie, just barely though. And basically, as Yuji's landing more and more punches on Sukuna, Todo is literally smacking the Vibra Slap against his head, which you gotta give it to my boy for dedication. He is never going to let his brother down again. He left his brother alone against Mahito, and Todo said, not happening twice. Never happening. So, of course, after all of that, Todo is using the strands of cursed energy shards that are slowly dissipating from the broken barrier to continually swap Yuji around while they fight. As Yuji is going around doing that, Yuji is once again just destroying Sukuna's senses and just swapping way faster than Sukuna can even keep track of. And as Yuji is landing more and more slashes, Yuji starts landing dismantle attacks on Sukuna. But not just on Sukuna, on the barrier between Sukuna and Megami's soul. So now, Yuji's actually just cutting at the line, the thread that's holding Yuji, sorry, not Yuji. He's cutting at the thread that's holding Megami and Sukuna together to the point where it's getting so crazy I can't even talk. Sukuna's barely hanging on by a thread. He's shocked because Yuji is selectively choosing the target and hitting dismantle after dismantle over and over again to the point that Sukuna can't even keep up. Sukuna says that Yuji's using a binding vow of some sort to make sure that Yuji's strikes are more effective, and basically Sukuna ends up throwing up fingers to the point where he's literally losing control of Megami's body. Sukuna does his best to swallow the fingers again and hope that he can do his best to avoid Yuji's attacks, since, those are mainly the biggest attacks that are affecting him. Todo's punches, Gojo's slash Yuta's punches and attacks aren't really doing much. As long as Sukuna can stay out of Yuji's range, he's fine. But in that moment, Todo goes to swap one last time, and Sukuna gets excited because the swap seems to have failed. It doesn't seem to go through. He goes, finally, we can fight on my terms. But right in that moment, when he least expects it, Angel shows up. It's finally time for Hana to regain and redeem herself. She has been known as the biggest fumbler in the entire series. Yuta just fumbled one of the biggest moments he possibly could have. So right now, the odds aren't looking too good to put in the biggest fumbler on the team. But hey, the underdog sometimes can change everything. And this might be one of those times. Don't call it a comeback, because right when Angel lets Jacob's ladder off for the big and final attack, we basically get a flashback to Yuta discussing with Hana. Angel was ready to get out of the fight entirely. Like, realize that Angel was going to unseal Gojo and dip, which, fuck you, Angel. How are you going to ruin everything, cause a huge problem, and then dip? Hana, the one that actually fumbled, is the one that wants to stick around and help, which, good for her. I'll respect that. And if you can redeem yourself, I will take every bad word I've said about you back. Now, the cool thing is this is admitted to be the one and final plan of the Shinjuku Showdown. So if anything proves that we're coming up on the end of the arc, it's this. The final plan was that because Sukuna assumes that Yuta can only use certain copy techniques, or if Yuta has copied a technique, then that other person can't use the ability. Sukuna is not aware that it's possible that Angel still exists with the curse technique. So if Angel has the curse technique and Yuta has the curse technique, that's two people with the same curse technique that can definitely catch Sukuna off guard. And basically, Yuta even admits the true strength of his copy technique is the ability to have two of the same cards in his hand. And right in that moment, Hana blasts a maximum output Jacob's ladder on Sukuna for the quote-unquote final attack, the last Hail Mary, guys. What's gonna happen? Are we gonna go right from one fumble to the next? Is this actually gonna do something? Is Sukuna gonna start the merger? Is Sukuna gonna make another binding vow? Who knows? All I know is this chapter was definitely a weird one. I'm not sure if Yuta is still in the game. I'm not sure what the point of Yuta taking over Gojo's body was. But all I know is this is nearing endgame, guys. I knew once Todo came back, we were getting close to the finale, but now I'm pretty sure we really have, because this is confirmed the final plan. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.